The ship landed in the snow without a sound. It was a cold winter night in the mountains of Korea. The wind was sharp, and the sky was full of stars. Princess Valora stood at the door of the ship and looked at the small wooden building in front of her. This was her punishment. This was her shame. She was the third princess of the Ulvari Empire. Her people ruled 12 star systems. They were old, powerful, and proud. They believed they were the greatest beings in the galaxy. Humans were nothing to them. Just a young species on a small blue planet. Not worth respect. Not worth attention. But Valora had made a mistake. She had spoken against the Elder Council. They wanted to destroy a human colony to take the minerals beneath the ground. Valora said it was wrong. She said the humans deserved to live. The council did not like her words. Her father, Emperor Kelith, loved her. But he was weak. High Counselor Morvith whispered in his ear day and night. Morvith hated Valora. He wanted her gone. And so the Emperor gave her the worst punishment he could think of. He sent her to Earth. He gave her to a human male in marriage. Not a real marriage. Just a symbol. A mark of shame. The Ulvari soldier behind her pushed her forward. She stepped into the snow. Her thin shoes were not made for this cold. She shivered, but did not show weakness. The soldier dropped a small bag at her feet. It held her clothes and nothing else. "Your new home, princess," the soldier said with a laugh. Then the ship rose into the sky and disappeared. Valora stood alone in the snow. She looked at the small building again. There was smoke coming from the chimney. Someone was inside. She walked to the door and knocked. The door opened. A man stood there. He was young, maybe 30 years old. He had messy black hair and tired eyes. He wore a thick sweater and old pants. He looked at her with surprise. "Hello?" He said. Valora did not know what to say. She had learned the human language, but she had never used it before. The words felt strange in her mouth. "I am Valora," she said. "I was sent here." The man looked confused. "Sent? By who?" "My people, the Ulvari." His eyes went wide. He had heard of the Ulvari. Everyone on Earth had heard of them. The powerful aliens who visited Earth sometimes but never stayed. Never cared. "I got a message," he said slowly. "They said a foreign dignitary was coming. For observation." I thought it was a joke. "It was not a joke," Valora said. "I am here. I cannot leave." The man stared at her for a long moment. Then he stepped back and opened the door wider. "Come inside," he said. "You must be freezing." Valora walked inside. The room was small but warm. There was a fire in the corner. Books were everywhere. There were machines she did not understand, and papers with numbers and drawings of stars. "My name is Do-Yoon," the man said. "I am a scientist. One study the stars." Valora almost laughed. She was a princess of 12 star systems. And now she was standing in a tiny room with a human who studied them from far away. "Sit," Do-Yoon said. He pointed to a chair near the fire. "I will make tea." Valora sat. She watched him move around the small kitchen. He was calm. He did not ask questions. He did not look at her with fear or anger. He just made tea. She did not understand him. When Morva sent her here, she expected many things. She expected the human to be cruel, to use her, to hurt her. That was what the Ulvari believed humans were. Primitive, violent, dangerous. But this man gave her tea. He asked if she was hungry. He showed her a small room with a bed and said she could sleep there. "Why are you being kind?" she asked. Do-Yoon looked at her. "Why would I not be? I am a stranger, an alien. You do not know me." He smiled a little. "You knocked on my door in the middle of winter. You look tired and cold. That is enough reason to be kind. Valora did not know how to answer. In the HFY Empire, kindness always had a price. People were nice because they wanted something. Power, money, favor. No one was kind for no reason. She drank her tea in silence. It was warm and tasted strange but good. That night, she lay in the small bed and listened to the wind outside. She thought about her home, her palace, her servants, her sisters who did not speak to her anymore, her father who let them take her away. She was alone now, forgotten, thrown away like trash, but the human had given her tea. He had given her a warm room. He had asked for nothing. Maybe, she thought, this punishment would not be as terrible as she feared. Or maybe it would be worse. Because if she started to like this place, if she started to care about this human, then returning to her old life would hurt even more. She closed her eyes and tried to sleep. Outside, the snow kept falling. And somewhere among the stars, her people had already forgotten her name. But Do-yoon had not. He sat by the fire late into the night, looking at his notes about the stars. He thought about the strange woman in his spare room. He wondered why anyone would send a princess to a place like this. He did not know the answer yet, but he had a feeling that his quiet life was about to change forever. The first month was difficult. Valora did not know how to live like a human. She did not know how to cook. She did not know how to clean. She had never washed her own clothes in her entire life. In the palace, servants did everything for her, but there were no servants here. There was only Do-yoon. He did not laugh at her when she burned the rice. He did not get angry when she broke a cup. He just showed her how to do things again and again until she learned. Like this, he would say, his voice patient and calm. Watch my hands. Slowly, she learned. She learned to make simple food. She learned to fold blankets. She learned to wash dishes in the small sink. These things were strange to her, but she found that she did not hate them. There was something peaceful about doing simple work with her hands. The winter was long and cold. They were alone in the mountains. Sometimes days passed without seeing another person. Do-yoon worked on his research during the day. He looked through his telescope at night. Valora watched him and asked questions. What are you looking for? She asked one evening. Patterns, he said. The universe has patterns. I want to understand them. Valora smiled a little. My people have studied the stars for 10,000 years. We still do not understand them. That is why it is interesting, Do-yoon said. There is always more to learn. She began to teach him about the stars she knew. She drew maps of her empire. She showed him the location of her home world. She told him about planets he would never see and colors his human eyes could not imagine. He listened to every word. He wrote notes. He asked questions. He was not afraid of how little he knew. He was excited by it. Valora had never met anyone like him. In the HFY Empire, asking too many questions was seen as weakness. People pretended to know everything. They hid their ignorance behind pride. But Do-yoon was different. He was happy to say, I do not know, because it meant he could learn something new. Months passed. Spring came. The snow melted. Green appeared on the mountains. Valora started to go outside more. She walked in the forest with Do-yoon. He showed her the plants and animals of Earth. She had read about them in reports, but seeing them was different. A deer ran past them one morning, and she stopped breathing for a moment. Beautiful, she whispered. Yes, Do-yoon said. They are. But he was looking at her, not the deer. She pretended not to notice. But her heart beat a little faster. One night, Valora got very sick. The air on Earth was not made for her lungs. She had medicine from her ship, but it ran out. She lay in bed, burning with fever, struggling to breathe. Do-yoon did not panic. He looked at the empty medicine bottle and made a decision. "There is a town 2 hours away," he said. "I will find medicine." "The storm," she said weakly. Outside, a terrible blizzard was raging. "You will die." "Maybe," he said, "but you will die if I do nothing." He put on his warmest clothes and walked into the storm. Valora lay in bed and listened to the wind scream. She thought he would not return. She thought he would freeze in the snow and she would be alone. She thought about her family, her empire, all the people who had sent her away. None of them would walk into a storm for her. None of them cared if she lived or died. But this human did. Hours passed. The storm continued. Valora drifted in and out of sleep, her body fighting the sickness. Then she heard the door open. Do-hyun stumbled inside. He was covered in ice. His face was blue from the cold. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely hold the small bottle of medicine. But he was alive. And he had found what she needed. He gave her the medicine. Then he collapsed by the fire and did not move for a long time. When Valora was strong enough to stand, she went to him. She covered him with blankets. She made tea the way he had taught her. She stayed by his side until he woke up. "You almost died," she said. "I did not," he replied. "Why did you do it? Why did you risk your life for me?" He looked at her with tired eyes. "Because you are here. That is enough." Valora felt something break inside her. Something she had built over many years. A wall around her heart. It crumbled in that moment. She sat beside him and took his hand. She told him the truth. All of it. She told him that she was a princess sent away in disgrace. She told him that the marriage was supposed to be a punishment. She told him that her people thought humans were primitive and worthless. "I am supposed to hate this place," she said. "I am supposed to hate you." Do-hyun squeezed her hand. "Do you?" She looked at him for a long moment. Outside, the storm was finally ending. The first light of morning was coming through the window. "No," she said. "I do not hate you. I think I love you." He smiled. It was a small smile, gentle and warm. "I think I love you too." That spring, they stopped sleeping in separate rooms. That summer, they walked together under the stars every night. And when autumn came, Valora realized something that changed everything. She was carrying a child. A half-human, half-Ylvari child. An impossible child. A miracle. She put her hand on her stomach and looked at the man beside her. The man who walked through storms for her. The man who asked for nothing and gave everything. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The baby was born on a cold morning in January. They had traveled to a small hospital near the mountains. The doctors were confused at first. Valora did not look human. Her skin was too pale. Her eyes were the wrong color. But Do-hyun explained that she was different and needed their help. The doctors did their best. The birth was difficult. Valora was not made for Earth hospitals. The machines did not understand her body. The medicine did not work the same way. She screamed and cried and held Do-hyun's hand so tight that his fingers turned white. Then, finally, the baby came. He was small but strong. His skin was pale silver blue, like his mother's. His eyes were dark violet, beautiful and strange. But when he opened his mouth and cried, the sound was loud and powerful. Louder than any Ylvari baby had ever cried. The doctors looked at each other in shock. Do-hyun laughed with tears running down his face. Valora held her son close and felt her heart grow bigger than she ever thought possible. "Taiwu," she whispered. "His name is Taiwu." Do-hyun touched the baby's tiny hand. "Hello, Taiwu. Welcome to the world." For a few days, they were happy. They stayed in a small house near the hospital. Do-hyun's sister Hana came to visit. She was a combat medic in the military. She was tough and smart and not afraid of anything. When she saw the baby, She laughed. "He looks like an alien prince," she said. "He is," Valora replied. "He is also your nephew." Hannah smiled. "Then I will protect him like a nephew." But the happiness did not last. Far away in space, the Ovari Empire had machines that watched the galaxy. When Taiwu was born, those machines detected something strange. A new life form. Half Ovari, half human. A hybrid that should not exist. For thousands of years, the Ovari had been dying slowly. Their population was getting smaller. Their children were getting weaker. They had tried everything to fix the problem. Nothing worked. Their species was fading away like a light going dark. And now, suddenly, there was a hybrid child. Alive. Healthy. Strong. High Counselor Morvith received the report. At first, he was angry. The princess he had sent away in shame was supposed to suffer. She was supposed to fade away and be forgotten. Instead, she had created something impossible. Then he became afraid. If the Emperor learned about this child, everything would change. Valora might be forgiven. She might return to power. She might become important again. Morvith could not allow that. He sent a retrieval squad to Earth, not to bring Valora home, but to destroy the child and kill the human who had fathered it. The soldiers arrived at night. There were 5 of them, dressed in black, carrying weapons that could burn through stone. They surrounded the small house where Valora and her family were sleeping. Hannah heard them first. She woke up and saw shadows moving outside the window. Her military training took over. She grabbed her gun and woke the others. "We have company," she said. Duhayan held Taiwu close. Valora stood between her family and the door. The first soldier broke through the window. Hannah shot him twice. He fell. The second soldier came through the door. Valora moved faster than human eyes could follow. She grabbed his weapon and turned it against him. He fell too, but there were more soldiers. And they were not giving up. The battle was short but terrible. Furniture was destroyed. Walls were broken. The sound of weapons firing filled the night. One soldier got past Hannah and Valora. He aimed his weapon at the baby. Doyen saw it happen. He did not think. He just moved. He put his body between the weapon and his son. The blast hit his left arm. Pain exploded through his body. He fell to the ground, screaming. But Taiwu was safe. Valora saw her husband fall. Something inside her changed. A rage she did not know she had rose up from deep inside. Her eyes glowed bright. Her hands moved without thinking. She killed the remaining soldiers with her bare hands. She broke them like they were made of paper. She did not stop until they were all dead. Then she ran to Doyen. He was alive, but his left arm was gone, burned away by the weapon. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I could not let him hurt our son." Valora held him close. Tears ran down her face. "You saved him. You saved our boy." Hannah worked quickly. She stopped the bleeding. She called for help. She did everything she could. Dahin would live, but he would never have his arm again. That night, sitting in the destroyed house, holding her sleeping son, Valora made a decision. She could not hide anymore. She could not run anymore. Morvith would keep sending soldiers. He would never stop until they were all dead. There was only one way to protect her family. She had to go back. She had to face the Empire. She had to fight. She looked at Doyen, pale and weak but still alive. "I have to return to my people," she said. He opened his eyes. "I know. It will be dangerous. You might die." He smiled, even through his pain. "I already almost died. What is one more time? This is serious. I am serious." He reached out with his remaining hand and touched her face. "Where you go, I go. Where Taiwu goes, I go. We are a family." Valora closed her eyes. She did not deserve this man. She did not deserve this love, but she had it, and she would fight to keep it. "Then we go together," she said. The stars above them were cold and distant, but somewhere among them was an empire waiting to be shaken. Valora sent messages to old friends in the empire. Some did not reply. Some said they could not help. But a few remembered her. A few still believed in her. One admiral sent a secret ship to Earth. It was small and fast, made for hiding from enemy sensors. It landed in the mountains 1 week after the attack. Dian stood ready. His left arm was gone, but Hana had given him a prosthetic made by military engineers. It was metal and plastic, not as good as a real arm, but it worked. He could hold things. He could fight if he needed to. Valora looked at him. "You do not have to come. I know. You could stay here. You could be safe." He shook his head. Taiwu needs to know his father stood beside his mother. No matter what. Hannah stepped forward. "I am coming too." "This is not your fight," Valora said. Hannah laughed. "My nephew is half alien. My brother married a princess. This is absolutely my fight." They boarded the ship together. The journey through space took several days. Taiwu slept most of the time, peaceful and unaware of the danger ahead. Dohun watched the stars pass by the window. Each one looked different from this close. Each one held secrets he would never fully understand. When they reached the Ylvari homeworld, Valora felt her heart beat faster. She had not seen this place in almost 2 years. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Great cities floated in the sky. Ships moved like silver birds between them. Everything was perfect and cold. The ship landed at a hidden location outside the capital. Valara's supporters were waiting. There were about 50 of them. Not many, not enough for a war, but enough to get her into the palace. "The emperor is weak," one of them said. "Morvith controls most of the council now. He has been telling everyone that you are dead." "Then I will show them I am alive," Valora said. They moved through the city at night. Valora walked in front, holding Taiwu in her arms. Dohin walked beside her, his metal hand resting on a weapon Hannah had given him. He did not know if he could use it, but he was ready to try. They reached the palace gates at dawn. The guards saw them coming and raised their weapons. Then they saw Valora's face. "The third princess," one guard whispered. "She is alive." "Open the gates," Valora commanded. Her voice was strong and clear. "I am here to see my father." The guards looked at each other. They did not know what to do. Morvith had told them the princess was dead. But here she was, standing in front of them, very much alive. Before they could decide, the gates opened from inside. Emperor Kelith stood there. He was older than Valora remembered. His hair was white now. His body was thin, but his eyes were still sharp. "Daughter," he said. "Father." They looked at each other for a long moment. Then the emperor saw the baby in her arms. His eyes went wide. "What is this?" "This is your grandson," Valora said. "His name is Taiwu. He is half human." The emperor stared at the child. Behind him, Valora could see other nobles gathering. She could hear their whispers, shock, horror, disgust. And then Morvith appeared. He was tall and thin, with cold eyes and a cruel smile. He walked forward and stopped in front of Valora. "You should not have come back," he said. "You were supposed to stay forgotten." "I was sent away in shame," Valora replied. "But I am not ashamed. I found something on Earth that our empire has lost. I found hope. I found love. I found life." Morvith laughed. "You found a primitive human and made a monster with him. This is not hope. This is pollution." Don stepped forward. Several guards raised their weapons at him, but he did not back down. "I am that primitive human," he said. His voice was calm but firm. And that child you call a monster is my son. He is stronger than any Ilvari child born in centuries. His heart beats louder. His voice is stronger. He is not pollution. He is the future." Morvith's smile disappeared. "Guards, kill the human." "Stop," the Emperor said. Everyone froze. Emperor Calith walked forward slowly. He stopped in front of Velora and looked at the baby again. Taiwu was awake now. His violet eyes looked up at the old emperor without fear. Then Taiwu did something that no one expected. He laughed. It was a small sound, but it filled the entire courtyard. It was bright and happy and full of life. It was a sound that the Ilvari had not heard in a very long time. Ilvari children did not laugh. They were quiet and serious from birth. Their emotions were controlled. Their joy was hidden, but this child laughed like the universe was a wonderful place. Emperor Calith felt something warm touch his cold heart. He looked at his daughter, then at the human man beside her, then at the laughing baby. "My grandson," he said softly. Morvith's face turned red with anger. "Your Majesty, you cannot accept this. It goes against everything our people believe." The Emperor turned to look at him. There was something new in his eyes, something that had been sleeping for a long time. "Our people are dying," the Emperor said. "Our children are weak. Our future is darkness. And here stands a child who laughs at the world. Perhaps it is time to believe something new." He raised his hand. "Counselor Morvith, you are removed from your position. You will face trial for sending assassins to kill my daughter and grandson." Guards moved forward and grabbed Morvith. He screamed and fought, but it was useless. "This is not over," he shouted as they dragged him away. "The council will never accept this. The people will never accept this." But he was wrong, because when the people of the Empire heard about the laughing child, they came to see him. Thousands of them, millions. They stood outside the palace and waited for a glimpse of the baby who might save their dying race. And when Taiwu laughed for them, they wept with joy. Morvith did not accept his defeat quietly. From his prison cell, he sent secret messages to his supporters. He promised them power. He promised them the old ways. He told them that the hybrid child would destroy everything the Ilvari had built. Some believed him. They gathered in the shadows. They made plans. They waited for the right moment. The attack came 3 weeks later. Morvith's followers broke him out of prison. They took control of the military command center. They surrounded the palace with loyal soldiers. "Give us the child," Morvith announced through every speaker in the city. "Give us the human. Return to the old ways or watch your capital burn." Emperor Calith was too old to fight. His body was weak. But Velora was not weak. And she was not alone. Dohyun stood beside her, his metal arm holding a weapon. Hana was there too, ready for battle. And behind them stood the loyalists who had brought them home. "We will not give them anything," Velora said. "We fight." The battle for the capital lasted 2 days. Velora led her forces through the streets. She fought like she had never fought before. Every time she grew tired, she thought of Taiwu, her son, her miracle, the reason she could not lose. Dohyun fought too. He was not a soldier. He was a scientist who studied stars. But love made him brave. He moved through the chaos, protecting those who could not protect themselves. Doing whatever he could to help. Hana was magnificent. She moved like water through the enemy lines. Her military training made her deadly. But more than that, she fought for her family, for her brother, for her nephew, for the strange sister she had gained when Velora entered their lives. On the second day, Velora found Morvith. He was in the command center, surrounded by guards. When he saw her, he smiled. "You cannot kill me," he said. "I am the voice of the old empire. A mirror. Kill me, and you become a tyrant." Valora walked toward him. Her guards fell away. His guards fell away. It was just the two of them. "I am not going to kill you," she said. Morvith looked surprised. "Then what?" "I am going to exile you. To Earth, to the same place you sent me." She smiled. "You will live among the humans you hate so much. You will see what I saw. And maybe, if you are lucky, you will learn what I learned." "And what did you learn?" "That being powerful is not the same as being strong. That being old is not the same as being wise. That the smallest planet can hold the biggest hearts." Morvith's face twisted with rage. "I will never learn from those primitives. Then you will be alone with your hate. That is your choice." The guards took Morvith away. He screamed and cursed, but no one listened anymore. His time was over. A month later, Emperor Keleth called the entire empire together. He stood before his people, old and tired but proud. "I have ruled this empire for 90 years, he said. "I have seen us grow proud. I have seen us grow cold. I have seen us begin to die. But I have also seen something new. I have seen a child who laughs. I have seen a daughter who found strength in love. I have seen a human man who walked into our world without fear." He turned to look at Valora. "My daughter was sent away in shame. She returns in glory. I name her my successor. When I am gone, she will lead this empire into a new age." The crowd was silent for a moment. Then, slowly, they began to cheer. Valora stepped forward. Dohyun stood beside her, holding Taiwu in his arms. The child looked out at the millions of faces and did not cry. He smiled. The people of the Ylvari Empire saw that smile. They saw the human man holding the child with such love. They saw their princess, stronger than ever, and they believed. The years that followed were not easy. Change is never easy. Some people resisted. Some people complained. Some people said the old ways were better, but the old ways were death, and the new ways were life. Scientists studied Taiwu. They learned that the combination of human and Ylvari genes created something stronger than either alone. More children were born. Hybrid children. Children who laughed and cried and felt things the Ylvari had forgotten how to feel. Dohyun became an ambassador between the two worlds. He traveled back and forth, building bridges. He taught the Ylvari about Earth. He taught humans about the stars. He showed everyone that different did not mean. Emi Dadhana became the head of the Imperial Guard. She trained soldiers to protect the peace. She made sure that no one like Morvith could ever rise again. And Valora ruled. She was a good empress. Fair and kind, but strong when she needed to be. She never forgot the small house in the mountains where everything had changed. She never forgot the cold nights and the warm tea and the man who walked through a storm to save her. One night, many years later, she stood on a balcony with Dohyun. They watched the stars together, just like they used to do on Earth. Taiwo was grown now, tall and strong, preparing to lead after his mother. "Do you ever think about it?" Dohyun asked. "About what?" "The beginning. When they sent you to me." Valora smiled. She took his hand, the real one, not the metal one. "They sent me to you in shame," she said. "They thought they were punishing me. They thought they were throwing me away. And instead," she looked at him, her husband, her partner, the human who had taught an alien princess what love really meant. "Instead, they gave me everything," she said. "They gave me you. They gave me Taiwu. They gave me a future." Dohyun squeezed her hand. "The future looks pretty good from here." She leaned her head on his shoulder. Together, they watched the stars shine. Somewhere on Earth, in a small building in the mountains of Korea, snow was falling. A new scientist was probably there now, studying the sky, dreaming of distant worlds. And in those distant worlds, a half-human child had changed everything. Not with war. Not with power, with love. With laughter. With hope. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly how it should be.